For this video, I will talk about a Capcom shoot-'em-up titled UN Squadron, my favorite shoot-'em-up for Super Nintendo, and in my opinion, one of Capcom's most underappreciated Super Nintendo games. The game is a port of an arcade game, which itself is based on a manga called Area 88. The Japanese version of the arcade game and the Super Famicom version are even titled Area 88. I know very little about the manga and its anime adaptations, but I can tell you that you do not need to read the manga or watch either anime adaptation to enjoy this game. The premise of UN Squadron is that mercenaries have taken control of much of the fictional country of Aslan thanks to weapons supplied by a villainous arms-dealing organization called Project 4. Trying to stop Project 4 is UN Squadron, an organization stationed in Area 88 in Aslan and consisting of fighter pilots from around the world. The three UN Squadron members serving as the game's three-player characters are the manga's protagonist, a Japanese fighter pilot named Shin Kazama, and two other characters from the manga, an American fighter pilot named Mickey Simon and a Danish fighter pilot named Greg Cates. I will now talk about the gameplay. Having three different playable characters adds replay value to the game, and each fighter pilot is fun to use. The damage system adds to the tension and is a good way to encourage players to fly more carefully. Basically, how the damage system works is that if the plane is hit, it enters danger mode for a brief time, and if the plane is hit in danger mode, it instantly crashes regardless of how much health is left over. My only problem is that dying while having a lot of health left can be very annoying. Each stage is preceded by a shop segment which includes a plane selection menu and a sub-weapon menu, the options of which depend on the chosen plane. This segment is great for two reasons. First, the option to buy planes and select the plane to use in a stage adds depth to the gameplay and rewards the player for saving money. Second, the player does not have to buy all of the sub-weapons for their plane of choice. This is great in two ways. First, the player might not be able to afford all of the sub-weapons for their plane, and second, the player can save money by not buying sub-weapons they think won't be necessary or useful in the upcoming stage. On a related note, I love how at the end of a stage, the player is refunded for each sub-weapon round left over at the end of the stage. This rewards the player for conserving ammo and makes saving and making money more convenient. One more comment I would like to make about the gameplay is that the hidden pickups are a great touch, and my favorite power-up is the unicorn, which creates a force field around the player's ship. Now for the stages of the game. All of the stages are colorful, detailed, and well designed, as are the great sprites. For context, there are stationary icons for stages that need to be completed, and moving vehicle icons for stages not required to complete. Some vehicles attack Area 88, in which case the player is forced to engage them. These vehicles add fun to the game because they add an element of strategy and an element of intensity. The non-violent vehicles, the Quartermaster Corps, are a great way for the player to make money because they are brief, respawn frequently, and award a fair amount of money. The only problem is that this money-making method can get repetitive, but I think the more expensive planes and the sub-weapons more than make up for the repetitiveness. I love the music in the stages. My favorite songs include the songs from the first stage, the forest, and the sea stages. Now I'd like to talk about the boss battles. The bosses are intimidating, well-drawn, and varied, and the battles are fun because of the great boss songs, the challenge, and the fast-paced combat. My favorite bosses include the rocket launcher tank in Stage 1, a submarine called Sea Vet, the attack fortress in the forest, and the ground carrier in the desert. The only boss I don't like fighting is the ceiling boss in the cave stage. The weak point is in an annoying place, and the enemies that spawn during the fight are annoying. Fortunately, the final stage more than makes up for the ceiling boss. The final stage is easily my favorite stage in the game, due to the large variety of environments in the stage, large variety of enemies in the stage, and the stage's song, which is my favorite song in the game. The song gives the sense that the player is in the final mission, adds tension to the stage, and goes well with the overall atmosphere of the game. The minor boss just before the final boss is a fun warm-up and has great music. The final boss, A massive flying fortress is intimidating with its large number of weapons and is well drawn and detailed. The final boss's music is awesome too. The ominousness of the song really adds to the intensity of the battle and goes well with the dangerousness of the fortress. Now I would like to talk about the ending, and before I continue, I would like to say that I will only talk about the endings for normal difficulty or high. These endings start off with the player character trying to escape the exploding base, but getting held up by several enemy aircrafts. The player character seemingly swallowed by the explosion, and the two teammates losing contact with him add tension to the ending. Then the ending turns from bittersweet to sweet in a turn satisfying for 3 reasons. The player character escaping the base at the last second, the two teammates smiling upon reuniting with the player character, and the player character saying a victorious line. I especially like Sheen's line, "Nothing like fighting on the winning team." I love the credit sequence because of the song. The first 30 seconds of the song fit the end of a long difficult journey well, and the rest of the song gives a sense of accomplishment and goes very well with the atmosphere of the game. I also love the song that plays at the final screen. Overall, UN Squadron is a timeless, intense, charming, challenging, beautiful, and well-crafted shoot-'em-up with great replay value and an excellent soundtrack. That concludes my review of UN Squadron. Take care.